something for somebody. All right, so again, this is our web lab. Over here on the far left, we have the files area. Anytime that we are going to be adding a file for our website, this is where that file will appear. Right now, we just have our main page file, which is the index.html file. This middle section is what we call our workspace. The workspace is where we are actually going to be adding code. We can type the code. You'll see where we can drag code in a moment. And then over here is the preview section. So it says try typing something in the workspace, press refresh and save to see it in the preview area. All right, so let's type something. So let's say, for example, I am a high school teacher. I like pizza. I like to cook. And this is eventually going to be part of my personal website. So these are things that I would be okay sharing with the public. Again, you don't want to share anything that's a little too personal or private or something that you wouldn't want necessarily shared with the world. But I'm a high school teacher. I like to cook. I love spending time with my family. So these are some things about myself that I don't mind sharing. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead over here on the oops, where is my mouse? I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought I heard somebody with a question.
I think when I went to code.org, I can't figure out how to get to that part.
Okay, so one moment. Let me turn off my screen share. You can share yours, and I will be able to talk you through it. Okay, hi. Go ahead and share your screen, and I'll be able to tell you how to get there. Okay. Yep. All right. So, do me a favor. Scroll down to where it says My Courses. Go to View Course, and then we are on lesson 2. So, chapter. Nope. Yep. Yep. Ding, ding, ding. Perfect. Nope. Go back. You're in the resource area, which is fine. I mean, it's still part of the lesson, but that's okay. Go to, yep, Intro to HTML. All right, do me a favor, scroll down. Click the level 1, levels with web lab. And that should be, there you go, perfect. So now you're where I'm at. You good? Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, is anybody else having a hard time finding the web lab? Anybody else? Again, in order to do this assignment, you need to have a code.org account. If you have not set up your code.org account yet, please let me know because I need to send you the. Actually, you know, I'm just going to do that for everybody right now while we're thinking about it. If you already have a code.org account set up, it is not a big deal. You do not need to reset it up. It's not. You do not need to do that. However, if you do need to set up an account, dashboard. I just need to give you the code. You are going to need a classroom code. Nah. Apologies. I don't know where my link is. All right. So when you do get to copy, when you do get to the code.org and it asks you to get to your assignment, or it would ask you for a class section, if it asks you for a class section, I'm putting my class section number for code.org in the chat right now again. Somebody asked, how do we get to the assignment again? All right. So again, I can't really show. The problem is I have the teacher view of things. If you go to there should be when you log into code.org, at the upper left hand side, there should be four black little dots that say CODE code. If you push that, then you should get something that says my dashboard. If you scroll down to my dashboard, you should see this area that says my courses. When you get to my courses, click view course. You are then going to choose unit 2 lesson 2, because that's what we're working on. All right, any other issues getting access before I move on? Anything else? Any questions, any comments, any difficulty accessing the code.org account? All right, I'm hearing none, so I will go ahead and continue. All right, so like I said, these are some 3 things that I would be okay with sharing on a personal website. When I click refresh and save, what I want to point out is look over here in the preview section. What do you notice about how I type this in versus how it showed up on my preview of my website? Somebody let me know. What is the difference between how I typed it in and what is going on the actual website here? This is where somebody unmutes and says something. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at my screen. Tell me what the difference is between what I typed and what is showing up in the preview screen.
It look like you put it in bullet points, and then over there it look like a full sentence.
Right. Okay. So I created 3 separate lines, 3 different topics. And in the preview, it's all showing up as one sentence, which was not my intention. Okay, so here is the thing, and you are going to hear me say this a lot this semester. Computers, we love to think of computers as being super duper smart. They're not. Computers are pretty dumb, and they only do what you tell them to do. This, of course, is an introductory to coding class. So even though I typed my information, I did not tell my program to separate them. I didn't tell it that. And since I didn't tell the computer, it doesn't know. Okay? So again, ladies and gentlemen, that is something that we are going to be working on. We are going to be working on HTML, which is the language of how to actually get your computer screen to do what you want it to do. All right. One other thing about code.org that I want to point out, when you are done with a level, so like I did what it said, I typed something, I clicked refresh and save, I noticed some differences. Whenever you are done with a bubble or a level on the code account, on the bottom, there is always going to be an orange button. It might say continue. It might say finish. It might say end. The word in that orange button is always going to be slightly different. But in order for you to turn in your work, you have to be able to click finish on here. Okay? Once you do that, I want to point out please notice at the top, my bubble turned colors. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have to go back and grade it, but it doesn't even get sent to the teacher side until you hit that finish or continue button. All right, so we are going to continue here with a small video that is an introduction to websites, or to WebLab, excuse me.
My name is Milani. I'm a curriculum development intern here at co.org, and I'm also a computer science student at Cascadia College. I always liked the fact that I can make whatever I want with computer science. I've been able to make really cool websites that are about topics I'm really passionate about, and I just really enjoy that there's so many different ways to express myself through such an outlet. Websites are everywhere, and they're the primary way many people get their news, keep up with friends' activities, learn new information, and share the details of their lives. Right now, you might be a consumer of websites created by others, but you're about to learn how to be a website creator with the power to make and share something brand new with the entire world. To do this, you'll be using WebLab, a unique tool that allows you to create your own websites with many of the same capabilities as a professional web developer. The instructions section includes directions for the project you're currently working on. When you're ready, you can collapse the instructions and shrink the size. Below the instructions, WebLab has a list of files and images that will appear on the website. Just like a news website has different pages for the front page, the arts and entertainment page, and the science page, your website will eventually have multiple pages based on files stored here. To edit a web page, you'll need to navigate to the right file name that corresponds to that page. Every project starts with a single index.html file, which is the main page of your website. When you click on the index.html file, it pulls up the contents of the file over here in the workspace. The workspace is where you develop your website. You can start by typing anything in the workspace. Let's put a title at the top of our page, followed by a paragraph about our page. As you type, you may see some of your changes appear automatically in the preview area. Some kinds of changes will not appear automatically. If your change doesn't appear immediately, just click the refresh button above the preview area to update the preview. You'll notice that all the content on your web page gets lumped together, which is not what we want. But stay tuned. You'll soon learn ways to better control how your content appears.
All right, so that was again an introduction to the Web Lab. I gave that same introduction. Hopefully, you guys were listening and now have some idea about the areas. Again, if you've watched the video on your end, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you hit the continue button or the next button, but you're going to hit that orange button to proceed to the next bubble. All right. So, explore HTML. This is a web page written in HTML, the language of the web. You will learn more about how it works, but first explore it by using the inspector tool. So your inspector tool is over the preview area. It is located right here, and you can see where it says my inspector is off. Do this. Clip the tip. How do I use inspector tool? Again, up here in the instructions, there are some frequently asked questions, and it'll give you information. And it says, the inspector tool is a great way to learn about unfamiliar code in WebLab. To turn the inspector tool on, click inspector off. You will know that the inspector tool is on because the button will turn white and say inspector on. Once you turn on the inspector tool, you can hover over anything in the preview area, and WebLab will highlight the code that is making that part of the page appear. Awesome, good to know. All right, so click on did that, check, follow the instructions in web page to explore the web page and discuss with the partner how it's working. Awesome. So now that I know what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to minimize my instructions so I have more of a workspace. I'm going to turn my inspector on. Now notice I have different sections. I'm curious as to how they got this big and totally separate. You'll notice there's that little tag it says H1 with those like the less than greater than, and then it has a closing tag with that slash still H1. This looks like another heading, but this one says H2. So now I'm thinking, all right, H's, maybe that means heading, and then 1 and 2 probably has something to do with the size. And then I have a regular looking paragraph. If I hover over that, I can see the content, but on either side of that paragraph, I see these little tags with P's on them. Okay, awesome. Then I see another heading, and I see that H2 tag again. I see another paragraph. I see the P tag again. I see another H2. I see another paragraph, and then I have this list of bullets. Somebody had said something earlier about a bulleted list, and yeah, I have even code down here that creates lists. That's awesome. All right, so again, keep in mind, Inspector Tool can and will help highlight any code that you're interested in seeing how it works. So at any point, you can come back here if you forget how to do a heading, if you forget how to do a list, etc., and take a look. Again, once you are done inspecting this page, we are going to go ahead and hit finish, and it is going to take us to our next bubble. And again, all we're doing right now is we are sort of introducing ourselves to WebLab. We are going to now learn about some HTML, the markup language. Again, through a little video here, and then we'll have a little bit of practice, and then you will have some time to practice on your own.
In this video, you're going to learn about using HTML to add structure to your web pages. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and is found on all websites across the internet. There are a bunch of different HTML structures you can use on your web page, including headers, lists, paragraphs, links, and images. Let's take a look at how to create a paragraph in HTML. The sentence we wrote for our web page would look better if it was distinctly different from the title of the web page. To separate the two, you need to let the computer know that all of this text is a part of a paragraph and not the title. You can do this by creating a paragraph element. Most elements are made up of 3 main parts: an opening tag, the contents to be displayed, and a closing tag. Tags are a part of HTML language, and they signal to the computer the start and end of an element. In this case, it's a paragraph. Tags let the computer know what we want to display on the screen and what we don't want to display. That's why tags include special characters like the less than and greater than to distinguish from the content. Paragraphs are just one type of structure you can use in a web page. Soon you'll learn about a number of other structures that will give you even more power to customize your website.
Okay, so we are going to take a look at creating some paragraphs. And again, whenever you're done with the bubble, make sure you hit that continue or finish or next orange button on the bottom. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, add text to the body. When you start any WebLab project, the docu-type HTML, head, body, HTML, that stuff will automatically pop up, always. Whenever you want to add content to your project, you have to go down between the body tags. Don't just start typing at the top, because that will mess up things in your code. So you are always going to create content between the body tags. That is super important because it's part of the body of your web page. All right, so then it says, write 3 separate sentences about any topic you like inside the body tags of your web page. Hit refresh and save if you don't see the change in the preview area. Compare your work with a neighbor and make sure you are placing the code in the same place. Awesome. So again, I'm just going to use those same 3 sentences. You need to make your own 3 sentences here in your code. Do not use mine because you are not a high school teacher. So again, figure out any 3 things that you would like to share, 3 sentences. All right. And then we are going to hit refresh and save. Now, again, my problem is that I currently have all of this running together. What we want to have happen is that we need to make sure that we are separating things out properly in paragraphs. I'm going to make my screen, oops, don't want to do that. I'm trying to make it bigger so it's easier to see. All right, so let me make this slightly bigger. There we go. Let me get rid of the instructions. Okay. So in order to actually make this into separate areas, at the beginning of my first sentence, I am going to do a less than symbol, the letter P, and a greater than symbol. That is telling the computer that I am starting a paragraph. Something I want to point out. Notice how this thing turned pink. Anytime you see pink code, it means there's some sort of mistake somewhere. All right, so pink is bad in your code. I want these to be separate, so I am going to close this off to create an HTML element here. So again, I'm going to do a less than sign, a slash, slash says that it's the end, another P, close my bar, close it off using a greater than symbol. And you'll notice up here in the preview area, I am a high school teacher now appears by itself. Using that same model, you are going to create the other 2 sentences that you make into their own individual paragraphs. I'm not going to completely finish it off because obviously you guys know what to do now. In the bubble number 6, which you will have time to work on, I'm just going to go ahead and go there. Again, it's just asking you to make sure that all of your sentences have been separated. And then when you get to 7, it's asking you to take a look at the broken code. So again, this code, it says this sentence should be its own, so should this one, what's wrong with this sentence? So again, look at the code and attempt to fix it. All right. So the video that I will be posting will have gotten you 1 through 5. With everything that we have done, you should be able to finish off 6 and 7 on your own. I am going to stop my screen. If there are any issues or questions, now is the time to ask, ladies and gentlemen. But for the remainder of today, you will be working on finishing up bubbles 5, 6, and 7. That is your job today.